In a small, quiet town, there lived a boy named Leo. Leo was gentle and kind. He had Down syndrome, which made him see the world in a very special way. He noticed details that others often missed. He loved colors, sounds, and the simple joy of nature. Every morning, Leo's mother would help him put on his bright blue jacket and take him to the park. It was his favorite place. The park was full of life. Birds sang from the trees, flowers swayed in the breeze, and children ran and laughed as they played games. Leo enjoyed watching the other children, but he did not always join them. Sometimes their games were too fast or too loud. Instead, Leo liked to explore slowly. He would follow the path along the pond, count the ducks, and sometimes toss crumbs of bread for them. The ducks would quack happily, as if they understood him. Not far from Leo, a German shepherd named Bruno lived with a kind man named Mr. Harris. Bruno was a large dog, strong and loyal, with a golden brown coat that shined in the sun. He had sharp, intelligent eyes, but his heart was gentle. He loved people, especially children. Every day, Mr. Harris would take Bruno for a walk in the park. People often admired Bruno for his grace and friendliness. On this sunny morning, Leo walked slowly to his favorite bench by the flower garden. He carried a small bag of bird seeds, his eyes bright with curiosity. The flowers were red, yellow, and pink, swaying gently in the morning breeze. Leo sat down and began sprinkling the seeds for the birds. He smiled when a tiny sparrow hopped close, pecking at the food. Bruno was walking with Mr. Harris on the park path when he noticed Leo. Something about the boy's quiet happiness caught Bruno's attention. He slowed his steps and stared. Leo looked different from the other children. He moved gently, his hands soft as he held the seeds, and his face lit up in a peaceful smile. Bruno tilted his head, curious and careful. Leo noticed Bruno at the same time. He had seen many dogs in the park before, but something about Bruno felt special. The dog's eyes were calm and kind, and his tail wagged slowly. Leo felt a warm feeling in his chest. He reached out a hand, unsure if Bruno would come closer. Bruno took a few steps toward Leo, then sat down quietly beside the bench. He leaned slightly toward the boy, his eyes gentle and welcoming. Leo's face lit up. He laughed softly, a sound full of pure happiness. He stroked Bruno's fur. Bruno closed his eyes and leaned into Leo's touch. It was a perfect moment of trust and friendship that Mr. Harris watched from a distance, smiling. He had seen Bruno connect with many people before, but there was something special in the way the dog approached Leo. It was not just curiosity, it was understanding. Bruno seemed to know that Leo was kind and gentle, and he wanted to be near him. Leo continued to feed the birds, while Bruno sat close, watching the sparrows with him. The boy talked to Bruno softly, telling him about the ducks in the pond and the colors of the flowers. Bruno listened, tilting his head and blinking slowly. Leo laughed again, and the sound was so pure it made the leaves on the trees seem to dance as the sun rose higher in the sky. The park became busier. Children ran past, shouting and playing, but Leo and Bruno stayed in their quiet space. The connection between them was strong. It was a bond built on trust, patience, and understanding. Leo had found a friend who accepted him exactly as he was, and Bruno had found a boy who understood his gentle heart. When it was time to leave, Leo hugged Bruno tightly. Bruno nuzzled Leo's cheek, his soft fur brushing against the boy's face. Leo waved goodbye to Bruno and promised to return the next day. Bruno wagged his tail as if he understood every word. Leo left the park with a smile that could light up the whole town. That morning marked the beginning of a friendship that would change both of their lives. It was a bond filled with love, trust, and simple joy. From that day on, every morning in the park felt brighter and warmer, because Leo and Bruno had found each other. The next morning, Leo woke up early, his heart full of excitement. He could hardly wait to see Bruno again. He put on his bright blue jacket, grabbed a small bag of bird seeds, and held his mother's hand tightly as they walked to the park. The sun was rising slowly, painting the sky with soft orange and pink colors. Leo's eyes sparkled as he imagined the birds, the flowers, and most of all, Bruno. When Leo reached the park, Bruno was already there with Mr. Harris. The dog noticed Leo instantly. His tail wagged slowly at first, then faster, as if he could barely contain his happiness. Bruno let out a soft bark, almost like a greeting, and Leo's face lit up with a big smile. He ran toward Bruno, holding out his hand. Bruno leaned gently into Leo's touch. The boy laughed, a sound so pure it made Mr. Harris smile. Leo sat down on the bench, and Bruno sat beside him, his head resting lightly on Leo's shoulder. It was a comfortable silence at first. The two of them did not need words to understand each other. They were happy just being together. Leo poured some bird seeds into his hand and held it out. A small group of sparrows hopped closer, pecking at the seeds carefully. Bruno watched quietly, his intelligent eyes following every movement. Leo began to speak softly, telling Bruno about each bird, as if the dog could understand every word. "This one is yellow," he said, pointing to a tiny bird. "And that one is red. They like to eat seeds, don't they?" Bruno tilted his head, blinking slowly, as if agreeing with Leo. The boy laughed again, and the sound echoed through the quiet park. People passing by smiled as they watched the bond between the boy and the dog. It was a friendship that made everyone feel warm inside. After a while, Leo stood up and walked slowly toward the pond. Bruno followed, matching each of Leo's steps carefully. The ducks quacked happily as Leo approached. He knelt by the water and started tossing pieces of bread for them. Bruno sat nearby, keeping watch and making sure Leo was safe. The boy looked up at the dog and whispered, "You see, Bruno? They like the food, just like us." Bruno's tail wagged as if he understood every word. Suddenly, a little boy ran past them too fast and accidentally bumped into Leo. Leo stumbled slightly, and his bag of bird seeds spilled on the ground. He looked scared for a moment, but Bruno was instantly there. The German shepherd nudged Leo gently with his nose, guiding him to stand safely. Then, Bruno sat beside the spilled seeds, letting the boy know everything was okay. Leo's fear melted away, replaced by relief and gratitude. He hugged Bruno tightly, whispering, "Thank you. Bruno, you always protect me." Bruno leaned into the hug, his warm body pressing gently against Leo's. For a moment, it felt like nothing in the world could harm them. Mr. Harris walked closer, smiling. "Bruno seems to like you very much, Leo," he said kindly. Leo smiled back. "I like him too," he replied softly. "He's my best friend." Bruno barked softly, almost as if agreeing with Leo. After feeding the ducks, Leo and Bruno went to explore the flower garden. Leo pointed to each flower, telling Bruno its color and name. Bruno followed every step, careful not to step on any petals. Leo laughed as he watched Bruno sniff the flowers and even try to chase a butterfly that flew nearby. Bruno stopped immediately when Leo called him, showing how much he trusted the boy. By the time the morning ended, Leo and Bruno were tired but happy. They had shared stories, laughter, and quiet moments together. Leo waved goodbye to Bruno, promising to come back the next day. Bruno wagged his tail, watching Leo walk away. The bond between them was growing stronger every day, built on trust, understanding, and simple love. Leo walked home with a smile that seemed brighter than the morning sun. He felt safe, happy, and loved. He could not wait to see Bruno again. He knew that with Bruno by his side, every day could be an adventure full of joy and friendship. That afternoon, Leo sat by his window and thought about the day. He imagined all the fun things he and Bruno could do tomorrow. His heart was full of hope. He knew that their friendship was something very special. Bruno was not just a dog. He was a friend, a protector, and a companion who would always be there for him. The next morning, Leo woke up even earlier than usual. Today, he felt excited and nervous at the same time. He wanted to see Bruno, but he also had a new idea. He had found a small, colorful ball at home, and he thought it might be fun to play with Bruno in the park. He put on his bright blue jacket, grabbed the ball, and held his mother's hand as they walked through the quiet streets toward the park. When Leo arrived, Bruno was already there with Mr. Harris. The dog spotted Leo immediately. His tail began to wag faster than usual, and he gave a soft bark of happiness. Leo smiled widely. "Bruno," he said, holding up the ball. Bruno tilted his head, curious about the new object. Leo walked slowly toward him and tossed the ball gently a short distance. Bruno sniffed it carefully, then nudged it with his nose, making it roll a little. Leo laughed loudly. "Good, Bruno," he said. "Do it again." Bruno picked up the ball with his mouth and carried it back to Leo. The boy clapped his hands and laughed even more. For the first time, Leo felt a new kind of joy. He realized he could share playtime with Bruno, not just quiet moments by the pond or flowers. Other children in the park began to notice Leo and Bruno playing together. Some of them stopped to watch, amazed by the gentle bond between the boy and the dog. Leo did not care about the attention. He was too happy to have a friend who understood him completely. Bruno was careful, gentle, and patient, and Leo loved every moment of it. After playing for a while, Leo sat down on the grass to catch his breath. Bruno sat beside him, resting his head on Leo's knee. Leo stroked Bruno's fur and said softly, "You are the best friend in the world, Bruno. You make me so happy." Bruno blinked slowly and wagged his tail. His eyes seemed to shine with understanding. It was as if he knew Leo's words and felt the same way. Then, something unexpected happened. A little girl ran too fast and tripped near the pond. She fell into the shallow water, and her doll floated away. She began to cry, frightened and upset. Leo looked at her, worried. Bruno, sensing the moment, jumped up and ran toward the girl carefully. He stayed near her, making soft sounds to comfort her. Then he looked at Leo as if asking for help. Leo walked slowly toward the girl and said, "Don't worry. Bruno is here." The girl wiped her tears and looked at the gentle German shepherd. Bruno sat beside her, his calm presence making her feel safe. Leo picked up the doll from the water and handed it to her. She smiled at him and said, "Thank you." Leo felt proud, but more than that, he felt happy that he and Bruno could help someone together. Bruno wagged his tail, happy that Leo was proud of him. It was a small moment, but it made Leo feel that he and Bruno could make a difference in the world. After that, they returned to their favorite bench. Leo spread some bird seeds for the sparrows and whispered stories to Bruno as usual. But today, the stories were different. He told Bruno about how brave he felt when helping the little girl and how proud he was of both of them. Bruno listened carefully, blinking slowly, leaning against Leo as if agreeing. As the morning ended, Leo and Bruno walked home together with Mr. Harris. Leo held Bruno's leash for a short walk, feeling responsible and grown up. He looked at Bruno and whispered, "You are my best friend. I want to play with you every day." Bruno wagged his tail happily, showing that he understood every word. That evening, Leo told his mother everything about the day. He described how he played with Bruno, helped the little girl, and felt so happy. His mother smiled and hugged him tightly. She could see that Leo had grown more confident and joyful. Leo's heart was full of love for Bruno. He realized that friendship was not just about fun. It was about trust, care, and helping others together. That night, as Leo fell asleep, he dreamt about Bruno. He imagined them running through the park, playing with the ball, feeding the birds, and helping people. In his dream, Bruno was always by his side, loyal, gentle, and full of love. Leo knew in his heart that their friendship was something very special. It was a bond that would grow stronger every day. The next day, Leo woke up with excitement in his heart. He knew today would be another special day with Bruno. The morning air was fresh, and the sunlight poured through his window, making the room glow. Leo put on his bright blue jacket, grabbed his small bag of bird seeds, and held his mother's hand as they walked to the park. When Leo arrived, Bruno was already there with Mr. Harris. Bruno's tail wagged happily as soon as he saw Leo. He ran a few steps and then sat down quietly, waiting for Leo to come closer. Leo ran to Bruno and hugged him tightly. "Good morning, Bruno," he said softly. Bruno nudged Leo's shoulder gently, happy to see his friend. Leo had brought a new idea today. He wanted to explore a small trail behind the park near the trees. He had noticed the path before, but never walked on it. Leo thought it would be fun to take Bruno along. Mr. Harris smiled and agreed, knowing the dog loved adventures. Together, Leo, Bruno, and Mr. Harris walked slowly toward the trail. The trail was beautiful. Sunlight passed through the leaves, making patterns on the ground. Birds chirped from the branches, and the air smelled fresh and clean. Leo walked carefully, pointing out flowers and insects to Bruno. Bruno followed closely, sniffing the flowers and enjoying the new scents. Leo laughed when Bruno gently tried to catch a butterfly, stopping just in time when it flew away. As they walked deeper into the trail, they reached a small clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a large tree with low branches. Leo looked around with wide eyes. "Bruno, look at this place," he whispered. Bruno sat beside him, his eyes watching the small animals in the clearing. Rabbits hopped quietly, and a few birds landed nearby. Leo decided to sit down and feed the birds. He sprinkled some seeds on the ground. Bruno sat beside him, watching every movement. The birds came closer slowly, trusting Leo and Bruno. Leo smiled as he watched the tiny creatures eat. He reached out and patted Bruno's head. "We're like a team, Bruno," he said softly. Bruno leaned against Leo, as if agreeing. Suddenly, Leo heard a soft cry. He turned his head and saw a small kitten stuck in the branches of the tree. The kitten looked scared and could not come down. Leo's heart beat faster. He wanted to help, but he was not sure how. Bruno immediately sensed the kitten's fear and moved closer to Leo. The dog sat calmly and looked up at Leo, encouraging him to be brave. Leo carefully walked toward the tree. He talked to the kitten softly. "Don't be scared. I will help you." Bruno stayed close, his presence giving Leo confidence. Slowly, Leo reached up and helped the kitten down. The kitten mewed softly, nuzzling Leo's hands before running toward the bushes. Leo laughed with joy. Bruno wagged his tail, happy that Leo had been brave and kind. After saving the kitten, Leo sat on the grass, catching his breath. He looked at Bruno and whispered, "We did it together, Bruno. We helped someone in need." Bruno leaned against Leo and closed his eyes, enjoying the warmth and calm of the moment. Leo felt proud, happy, and loved. Mr. Harris smiled and said, "Bruno seems to have chosen you for a special friendship." "Leo, not many people have a friend like him." Leo hugged Bruno again, feeling the bond between them grow stronger. He realized that friendship was about more than play. It was about trust, courage, and caring for others. As the morning ended, Leo and Bruno walked back to the park entrance. The sunlight felt warm on their backs, and Leo felt a new sense of happiness. He knew that every day with Bruno was an adventure, full of surprises and joy. Leo waved goodbye to Mr. Harris and promised to return the next day. Bruno wagged his tail, watching Leo leave, his eyes full of affection. That evening, Leo told his mother everything about the adventure. He described the trail, the clearing, and the kitten they had saved. His mother hugged him tightly and smiled. "You and Bruno are a wonderful team," she said. Leo went to bed that night feeling proud and happy. He dreamed of the adventures he would have with Bruno in the days to come. In his dreams, they explored forests, played by ponds, and helped animals in need. Leo knew that Bruno was not just a dog. He was a loyal friend, a protector, and a companion who would always be there. The following morning, Leo woke up with a feeling of excitement he could not explain. He quickly put on his bright blue jacket and grabbed his small bag of bird seeds. Today, he decided he wanted to take Bruno on a little adventure beyond the park. He had noticed a hill nearby that overlooked the town, and he imagined how beautiful it would look from the top. When Leo arrived at the park, Bruno was already waiting with Mr. Harris. As soon as Bruno saw Leo, his tail wagged furiously, and he ran a few steps before sitting patiently, ready for their adventure. Leo held Bruno's leash carefully, feeling proud. "Come on, Bruno," he said with a bright smile. "We are going to see something amazing today." Together, they left the park and began walking toward the hill. The path was narrow and winding, surrounded by trees and flowers. Bruno walked beside Leo, sniffing the ground and enjoying the fresh morning air. Leo pointed out small birds, colorful flowers, and even a butterfly that landed on a leaf. Bruno watched everything closely, alert but calm. When they reached the base of the hill, Leo looked up and felt a little nervous. The hill was steeper than he expected, but Bruno's calm presence gave him courage. He whispered, "We can do this, Bruno." The dog wagged his tail, as if agreeing with every word. Together, they began the slow climb. The path was not easy. Leo stumbled a few times, and Bruno paused to make sure he was safe. When Leo reached out to touch a branch to balance himself, Bruno stayed close, his eyes watching every step. After a while, they stopped for a short rest. Leo took a deep breath, feeling tired but happy. He looked at Bruno and said softly, "Thank you for being with me, Bruno. I could not do this alone." Bruno nuzzled Leo's hand gently, showing that he understood completely. Finally, after some careful steps, they reached the top of the hill. Leo's eyes widened with wonder. The view was breathtaking. He could see the entire town below, the winding river, the park, and even the little houses with smoke rising from their chimneys. The sunlight painted everything in gold and orange. Leo took a deep breath and whispered, "It is more beautiful than I imagined." Bruno sat beside him, calm and proud. Leo laughed softly and threw a small piece of bread toward a bird that flew nearby. Bruno watched the bird carefully, then looked back at Leo, his eyes full of warmth. Leo leaned against Bruno, feeling safe and happy. In that moment, he realized how lucky he was to have a friend like Bruno. While they were enjoying the view, Leo noticed something moving in the distance. A small dog seemed lost, wandering near the edge of the forest. Leo's heart beat faster. He knew the dog needed help. Bruno seemed to sense it too. The German shepherd stood up and barked softly, as if saying, "Let's go help." Leo carefully walked down the hill, Bruno close beside him. The little dog was scared and shaking. Leo approached slowly, speaking in a soft voice. "Don't be afraid. We are here to help you." Bruno stayed calm, sitting beside the small dog and giving it comfort. Slowly, the little dog stopped shaking and came closer to Leo. Leo held out his hand and the small dog sniffed it. Bruno stayed beside Leo, making the little dog feel safe. Leo smiled and whispered, "We will take you home. You are safe now." Together, Leo and Bruno led the small dog down the hill. The journey back was slow, but they moved carefully, making sure the little dog was calm. When they reached the park, Mr. Harris helped Leo and Bruno find the dog's owner. A woman ran toward them, calling her dog's name. She hugged the small dog tightly and thanked Leo and Bruno with tears in her eyes. Leo felt proud and happy, and Bruno wagged his tail, as if he understood the joy of helping someone. That evening, Leo told his mother everything about the hill, the view, and the little dog they had saved. His mother hugged him tightly, smiling. "You and Bruno are amazing," she said. Leo smiled, feeling warmth in his heart. He knew that friendship was not just about fun. It was about courage, trust, and helping others together. As Leo went to sleep that night, he thought about the day. He dreamt of more adventures with Bruno, exploring hills, helping animals, and discovering the beauty of the world together. He knew that with Bruno by his side, every day could be magical, full of love, courage, and friendship. The next morning, Leo woke up feeling happy and ready for another adventure with Bruno. He quickly put on his bright blue jacket and grabbed his small bag of bird seeds. Today, he wanted to explore a part of the park he had never visited before. He wondered what surprises might be waiting for him, and when when Leo arrived at the park. Bruno was already there with Mr. Harris. As soon as Bruno saw Leo, his tail wagged quickly, and he gave a soft, happy bark. Leo ran toward him and hugged him tightly. "Good morning, Bruno," he said. Bruno nudged Leo's shoulder, happy to see him. Mr. Harris smiled at the sight of their strong friendship. Leo led Bruno to a quiet area of the park, near a small wooden bridge over a narrow stream. The water sparkled in the morning sunlight, and colorful fish swam gently beneath the surface. Leo carefully walked across the bridge, holding Bruno's leash. Bruno followed him closely, his eyes alert but calm. The boy stopped in the middle of the bridge and looked down at the water. "Look, Bruno," he whispered. "The fish are so beautiful." Bruno sat beside him, watching quietly. Suddenly, Leo noticed a little boy on the other side of the bridge. The boy seemed sad and alone. He was sitting on a rock, looking at the water, and tears rolled down his cheeks. Leo felt a warm feeling in his heart. He wanted to help the boy feel better. Bruno, sensing Leo's concern, stood up and wagged his tail gently. Leo walked slowly toward the boy. "Hello," he said softly. "Are you okay?" The boy looked up, surprised to see Leo and Bruno. "I lost my kite," he said quietly. "It flew into the stream, and I cannot get it." Leo smiled kindly. "Don't worry. Bruno and I can help you." The boy's eyes widened with hope. Leo and Bruno carefully approached the stream. Bruno sniffed around, his sharp senses helping them find the kite stuck on a branch in the water. Leo reached out slowly and grabbed the kite. The boy's face lit up with a big smile. "Thank you so much," he said, hugging his kite tightly. Leo handed the kite to him, and Bruno wagged his tail proudly, happy to see the boy's joy. The little boy laughed, a sound that made the morning feel even brighter. Leo smiled and said, "It is okay. We are happy to help." Bruno nudged the boy gently, letting him know that he was safe and cared for. The boy hugged Bruno softly, and the dog leaned into the hug, enjoying the warmth and love. After helping the boy, Leo and Bruno returned to their favorite spot by the flowers. Leo scattered some bird seeds and whispered stories to Bruno as they watched the sparrows. Today, the stories were about bravery, friendship, and helping others. Bruno listened carefully, resting his head on Leo's knee. The boy laughed as he imagined their adventures, and Bruno wagged his tail as if he understood every word. As the morning ended, Leo and Bruno walked home slowly, enjoying the sunshine and the cool breeze. Mr. Harris followed, smiling at the bond between the boy and the dog. You two make a wonderful team, he said kindly. Leo smiled and looked at Bruno. We always help each other, he said softly. Bruno wagged his tail, showing his agreement. That evening, Leo told his mother everything about the day. He described the boy by the stream, the lost kite, and how Bruno helped make someone happy. His mother hugged him tightly and said, You and Bruno are special. You bring happiness wherever you go. Leo felt proud, knowing that his friendship with Bruno was more than just play. It was about love, courage, and kindness. That night, Leo fell asleep dreaming of more adventures with Bruno. He imagined exploring forests, helping animals, and making more friends in the park. He knew that no matter what happened, Bruno would always be by his side, loyal and full of love. Their friendship was strong, and every day brought new happiness and new adventures for both of them. The following morning, Leo woke up feeling a sense of excitement he had never felt before. He quickly put on his bright blue jacket and grabbed his small bag of bird seeds. Today, he wanted to take Bruno to a new part of the park he had noticed the week before. It was a small garden with a wooden fence and a few benches. Leo thought it might be a perfect place for them to play and explore. When Leo arrived, Bruno was already waiting with Mr. Harris. Bruno's tail wagged furiously as soon as he saw Leo. He ran a few steps toward the boy and then sat down calmly, his eyes full of joy. Leo ran to Bruno and hugged him tightly. Good morning, Bruno, he said. Bruno nudged Leo's shoulder softly. Happy to see him, Leo led Bruno to the garden. The path was lined with small flowers, and butterflies danced in the sunlight. Leo walked slowly, pointing out flowers and insects to Bruno. Bruno sniffed the flowers and watched the butterflies carefully. Leo laughed when a butterfly landed on Bruno's nose. Bruno shook his head gently, and Leo clapped his hands. Laughing even more. In the middle of the garden, Leo saw a small wooden bench under a tree. He ran toward it and sat down, patting the ground next to him. Bruno sat beside him, resting his head on Leo's knee. Leo scattered some bird seeds, and a few sparrows came to eat. Bruno watched them quietly, his ears moving as he listened to every sound around him. Suddenly, Leo heard soft crying nearby. He turned his head and saw a little girl sitting on the grass. She looked sad and alone, holding a small teddy bear in her hands. Leo's heart filled with concern. He wanted to help her feel better. Bruno, sensing Leo's worry, stood up and wagged his tail gently, ready to help. Leo walked slowly toward the girl. Hello, he said softly. Are you okay? The girl looked up, surprised to see Leo and Bruno. I lost my teddy bear, she said quietly. It fell under the bench, and I cannot reach it. Leo smiled kindly. Don't worry. Bruno and I can help you. The girl's eyes brightened with hope. Bruno carefully crawled under the bench and returned with the teddy bear in his mouth. The little girl's face lit up with a big smile. Thank you so much, she said, hugging the bear tightly. Leo handed it to her gently. Bruno sat beside them, calm and proud. The girl patted Bruno's head softly, and he leaned into her touch, happy to help. After that, Leo, Bruno, and the little girl played together in the garden. They tossed a small ball, chased butterflies, and laughed at the birds that came to eat the seeds. Bruno was gentle and careful, making sure no one got hurt. Leo felt a warm joy in his heart. He realized that helping others was one of the best feelings in the world, especially when he had Bruno by his side. As the morning ended, Leo waved goodbye to the little girl and her mother. Bruno wagged his tail happily, watching the girl leave. Leo looked at Bruno and whispered, You are the best friend ever. I could not do this without you. Bruno nudged Leo's hand, showing his understanding and loyalty. Mr. Harris smiled at them both. You two are a remarkable team, he said. You bring happiness wherever you go. Leo felt proud and happy. He knew that his friendship with Bruno was very special. It was built on trust, kindness, and love. That evening, Leo told his mother about the day in the garden. He described the little girl, the lost teddy bear, and how Bruno had helped. His mother hugged him tightly. "You and Bruno are truly amazing," she said. Leo smiled, feeling the warmth of her words. He knew that every adventure with Bruno taught him something important about friendship and caring for others. As Leo lay down to sleep that night, he thought about the day. He dreamed of future adventures with Bruno, exploring the park, helping animals, and bringing joy to people. He knew that no matter what happened, Bruno would always be by his side. Their friendship was unbreakable, full of love, trust, and happiness. The morning sun rose gently over the quiet town. Leo woke up feeling a mixture of excitement and happiness. Today, he decided he wanted to spend the whole morning with Bruno in the park. He put on his bright blue jacket, grabbed his bag of bird seeds, and ran outside to meet his loyal friend. Bruno was already waiting with Mr. Harris. As soon as he saw Leo, his tail wagged furiously, and he ran a few steps toward the boy. Leo laughed and hugged Bruno tightly. "Good morning, Bruno," he said softly. Bruno nudged Leo's shoulder, happy to see him. Mr. Harris smiled, enjoying the joyful sight of the boy and his dog. Leo led Bruno to their favorite spot by the pond. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and the ducks swam peacefully. Leo knelt down and sprinkled bird seeds on the water. The ducks quacked happily, swimming closer to eat. Bruno sat beside Leo, watching the birds and listening to the gentle sounds of the morning. Leo laughed softly when a duck quacked near Bruno's nose. The dog stayed calm, leaning against Leo as if sharing the laughter. After feeding the birds, Leo decided to explore a small path lined with flowers. He loved showing Bruno every detail of the park, from the colors of the flowers to the songs of the birds. Bruno followed closely, sniffing the flowers and occasionally chasing a butterfly that flew nearby. Leo clapped his hands and laughed each time. Bruno tried to play gently with the butterfly as they reached a small clearing. Leo noticed a boy sitting alone on a bench. The boy looked sad, his head down, and he seemed lonely. Leo's heart ached for him. He whispered to Bruno, "Let's go say hello. Maybe we can help him feel happy." Bruno wagged his tail, ready to help. Leo walked slowly toward the boy. "Hello," he said softly. "My name is Leo, and this is Bruno. Are you okay?" The boy looked up, surprised. His eyes were filled with sadness, but also curiosity. I lost my way," he said quietly. "I do not know where to go." Leo smiled gently. "Do not worry. Bruno and I can help you." The boy's face brightened with hope. Bruno sat calmly beside the boy, giving him comfort. Leo held the boy's hand and guided him through the park. Together, they walked past the flowers, along the path, and back toward the pond. Bruno stayed close, keeping the boy safe and making him feel at ease. The boy began to smile, feeling brave and happy with Leo and Bruno by his side. When they reached the pond, the boy laughed as he watched the ducks swim. Leo handed him some bird seeds, and together they fed the birds. Bruno sat quietly, leaning against Leo and listening to the soft laughter of the children. It was a simple moment, but it was full of joy and warmth. After a while, the boy's mother arrived, running toward him with relief and happiness. She hugged her son tightly and thanked Leo and Bruno with tears in her eyes. Leo smiled softly. "We are happy to help," he said. Bruno wagged his tail, showing his quiet pride. As the morning ended, Leo and Bruno returned to their favorite bench. Leo hugged Bruno tightly and whispered, "You are my best friend. You always make people happy with me." Bruno leaned into the hug, his soft fur brushing Leo's cheek. The bond between them was stronger than ever. That evening, Leo told his mother about the day. He spoke about the boy, the lost way, and how Bruno had helped him feel safe. His mother hugged him and said, "Leo, you and Bruno bring love and joy wherever you go. Your friendship is special." Leo smiled, feeling proud and happy. He knew that Bruno was not just a dog. He was a loyal friend, a protector, and a companion who would always be there for him. As Leo lay in bed that night, he thought about all the adventures he and Bruno had shared. He dreamt of exploring new places, helping others, and discovering the beauty of the world with Bruno by his side. He knew that no matter what challenges came, their friendship would remain strong and full of love. Leo closed his eyes, feeling safe and joyful. Bruno slept at the foot of his bed, calm and loyal. The bond they shared had grown through laughter, courage, and kindness. It was a friendship that would last forever, filling their days with happiness, love, and unforgettable memories. The park, the birds, the animals, and the people they had helped were all part of their story. Together, Leo and Bruno had discovered the true meaning of friendship. It was a bond built on trust, care, and the simple joy of being together. And from that day on, their hearts were always connected, sharing a love that could never be broken.